In our top story, U.S. President Joe Biden has issued a full and unconditional pardon for his son, Hunter Biden. The announcement comes just days before Hunter was due to face sentencing for gun crime and tax-related offenses. Now, Biden had previously said that he wouldn't pardon his son. However, Biden justified the U-turn, alleging that his son was being prosecuted selectively and unfairly. He went on to add that he hoped Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. Now, Hunter Biden's legal trouble stems from several convictions, including a guilty plea to 9 tax offenses that is linked to millions in unpaid taxes. He also faced charges related to illegal purchase of a firearm, a case that sparked public interest due to Hunter's struggles with addictions. The pardon prevents Hunter from being sentenced for charges related to both cases, which had threatened to send him to prison. Now, his sentencing hearings set for mid-December have now been canceled. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump slammed the decision as abuse and miscarriage of justice. On his social media platform, Trump questioned the move and asked whether the pardon included the January 6th the 6 hostages, referring to the people jailed in the Capitol riots case. In the United States, presidential pardon power comes via the Section 2 of Article 2 of its Constitution. The Constitution allows the president to grant clemency, which includes granting full pardons which forgive all legal consequences of a conviction, issuing commutations which reduce the sentence but do not erase the conviction, granting reprieves like temporary delays in the imposition of a sentence, and offering remissions of fines or forfeitures. While this power is vast, it's not without its limits. However, there are few limitations in the pardoning powers of the president. Now, first, the President of the United States cannot issue pardon in cases related to impeachment, such as removal from office or disqualification from holding future office. Second, the president's pardon power applies only to federal offenses. It does not extend to state crimes. Now, the power to issue pardons has long been a part of president's constitutional authority, and over the years, many have used it to grant clemency to individuals caught in controversial legal battles. Now, in January 2001, President Bill Clinton issued a highly controversial pardon to his brother, Roger Clinton, who had served time for a drug conviction. In 1992, President George H. Bush pardoned 6 individuals involved in Iran-Contra affairs, including former Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger. In 1989, President Ronald Reagan pardoned George Steinbrenner, the owner of the New York Yankees, for illegal campaign contributions made to Richard Nixon's 1972 presidential campaign. In 1974, President Gerald Ford granted a preemptive pardon to Richard Nixon following the Watergate scandal. In 1971, President Nixon granted a pardon to Jimmy Hoffa, the leader of the Teamsters Union, who was serving a 15-year sentence for jury tampering and other charges. All right, to understand this more, we are now being joined by Peter Kuznick from Washington, D.C. He is a professor of history at American University and U.S. political analyst. Thank you so much for joining us now. I'd like to begin by asking you, President Biden had earlier said that he will not pardon Hunter and that he had faith in justice and rule of law. What is your reaction to his pardon now?
Well, it's a sad moment in U.S. presidential history. Biden has said a lot of things that he's then contradicted or reversed. You look at some of the ones that have real consequences. This one is more symbolic and makes him look like a hypocrite. But when he says that he's not going to give Ukraine permission to use ATACMS missiles to strike deep inside Russia, because he fears it might trigger World War III, and then he goes ahead and gives permission to use those missiles, that is something that's got real consequences. But it's sad to see Biden, a man who's been in public life for so many decades completely destroy his legacy and his moral standing with one flaw, one false step, one misstep after another. So there's another very, very sad moment in U.S. history.
Right. Now, we have some reactions from Republican, you know, representatives like Majority Taylor Greene. Hunter Biden broke gun laws, that is what he said. He broke the FARA Act. We have reactions from the Democrats as well. We have Eric Holder Jr., who said, here's the reality. No U.S. attorney would have charged this case given the underlying facts. How do you think of the reactions coming in?
Well, that is true. That if Hunter Biden had not been the son of the president, he would not have been charged in this way and treated in this way. It would have been a minor case that would have been settled without any prison time. But the fact is, he is the son of the president, and that President Biden has said repeatedly that he would not pardon his son. Well, why now does he change his mind? Why now does he decide to pardon his son? That just smells of corruption. The whole idea that presidents have this power is just something that feeds and fuels corruption in the American system. We've seen the way Trump has used it. We've seen the way Trump plans to use it to free the January 6th violent prisoners. But, you know, this is a power that the Constitution grants to presidents. It's one of many things in the original Constitution that is deeply, deeply flawed.
Right. If you could also explain us now, the statement says he's given full pardon. What does this pardon mean? Does it mean all the cases that he might have in future as well?
Yes, it means that any crimes he's committed in the past, and there are two that he's been convicted on by a jury of his peers, as well as any other crimes that he may have committed on a federal level, will now be excused. So it's a sweeping kind of pardon. But you see what Trump's done also, where he pardoned Charles Kushner, the father of his son-in-law, and where he plans to pardon other political partisans. We've seen other presidents do the same thing in the past. So it's not that Biden is different in using it. It's just that Biden has said repeatedly that he would not use it, which makes him look like a hypocrite.
Right. Now, his ending remarks were, I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. Do you think Americans will understand?
I think it's clear why a father would come to this decision, but the political implications of lowering the standard of justice in this way right before Donald Trump is coming to power means that he's going to legitimize some of the things that Trump is going to do, because Trump could say, well, look at Biden, look what Biden did. And you know, the things that Trump is likely to do are equally, if not more reprehensible, with more consequences. It's going to really, really confuse and muddy the moral distinctions and the morality of what a president should be allowed to do.
All right, now that the pardon is done, of course, we'll be looking forward for other reactions that come in. But thank you so much for joining us on the show and giving your perspective.